This is a Power 98.7 podcast. Now we're talking. Subscribe to Power 98.7 podcasts in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. There's more on power987.co.za. Power Weekend Breakfast Profile.
Billy Monama is in studio and he is just released and I haven't seen it, Billy. I'm so excited. Slide it across here. Here it is. Oh, I'm so proud. Introduction to South African Guitar Styles, Volume 1, meaning there's more to come.
Yo.
5 decades of ukuvamba. Hey? From the 1930s to 1980s, authored by Billy, but really researched in life and in curiosity and in academia by Billy as well. This is so cool. We've talked about this for years and years. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Pabi, man. You know, like, I said I don't want to talk to anyone here at Power except you, because you know we come a long way.
It's been a journey.
Speaking about it's been a journey, you know. And today, sitting here speaking about the book is like, it still feels like a dream, you know, because I don't have a guitar. People, they're like, Billy, where's the guitar? I'm like, guys. Yeah. Can I talk about the book? You know, so yeah, people, they still want me to play, and yeah.
You don't do that anymore. He's an academic now.
I want to do that. I have shows that are coming up in July.
Yes.
Just to balance things out. People, they don't write me off like, hey, Billy, now he's an author. You know what I'm saying?
But tell me about the motivation behind this. I mean, I suspect in part it's what you've dedicated the book to, you know, the ancestors of South African guitar. Yeah. Why did you want to write this?
I wanted to write this because there was a gap. I saw a gap in South Africa, that especially in education, because the education system, it is erratic in South Africa, and the teachers, they are lacking dimension. And when I say the teacher lacks dimension, is because their level of information about South African music, it is very minimal. So now, if the teacher at school learns how to play classic, what are they going to teach their students in the future? So it's what is there, is what is in the curriculum that bothered me to do this, because we were writing about B.B. King, like the whole two biography, Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, and I was like, where's South African music here?
Is this when you were studying?
Yes. And then I dropped out, you know. I said, and then I started the revolution. I said, no, we're gonna do that. So now, when I started the revolution, I was not clumsy about it. I was too what is the word, meticulous about it, that you know, I needed people to mentor me around it, the situation, like you know, different professors, because I was not a scholar. And I need to say this so that people, they don't think that I'm trying to condone people to not go to school. I'm saying that I was the one who decided to go on this journey so that the next future generation can have this. Yeah, and listen,
We're excited.
And yes, and listen, I go to the libraries. I go to the libraries, right? I go to the libraries. I leave a copy of a book, and someone says to me, Billy, oh, upisana ngencwadi. I say to that person that I'm not giving away books. I give the library, because if I take this book only for to the institution, there will be a kind of a hindrance to the access. You know what I'm saying? So poor a child who's not privileged won't have that access to infiltrate, you know, into the varsity.
So hang on, what are you saying? That you've gone and given books to a variety of public libraries?
It's accessible, but I make sure that I sign an agreement with them. This book doesn't leave the library.
Yes. It's like in that reference section.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in the reference section. Yeah. You use it for reference, and you don't take it home and make the whole copy of the book, photocopy it, duplicate it.
Why is it important to have the music symbols, the definitions? I mean, what are we actually trying to learn here by reading this?
So by reading this, I thought that it should make sense for them. Maybe let me start here. For this book, it's going to be published in 2 configurations. So now the first installment is this one. That one, it is published for public consumption. People who are not scholars, people who can use it. You know what I'm saying? So now I had to put the musical symbols so that you can understand as you read what does this sign mean, and also I have a glossary, I have an index. So now I didn't want to just put the history only, because there's a landscape, there's a historical landscape there, and there are biographies of the personnel who made that music, from Umpaqanga. When you speak about Umpaqanga, there's no way you can take out Max Mankwani, who was innovator of Mahona Tsohle band that was playing with Matlatin and Motela Queens.
Amazing.
And then when you speak about African jazz, you cannot mention the Cyril Magubani, and General Duze, So now each and every substyle. So I have Kwela as well, and I have Chitonga, and I have African jazz in three segments. So now is the African jazz in the 50s, where it started in the 1950s during the acoustic era, and then I have the development of African jazz where the electric guitar was introduced.
Wow!
Because now when the audience was growing,
yes,
then the sound couldn't reach the audience anymore. So now I see that you have a page of that guy. That guy died. That page is African jazz in 1960 during the Black consciousness. We're talking about Philip Tabani, Lucky Ranku. I mean, these people, they were there. You see, it's politically inclined, because musicians, they were a voice to emancipation of this country. If there wasn't African jazz, there was not going to be Miriam Makeba. Hello?
Yes.
And Miriam Makeba, he was the one who alarmed the United Nations with, hey, Kaya Guanyi.
Yeah. I don't know if we're allowed to say that,
Yes,
but perhaps we said something that everyone
it's
understands. But Billy, I think it's so important because I don't know. Our history is told through a certain lens. Our politics told through a certain lens. But the history of the arts, I think, is sometimes so overlooked because we think arts is just talented people. Okay, sharp, they're just performers. But the science, the reason why I was asking you about the musical symbols and the definitions and the way to play music, it's a science.
Yes, it is.
It's a science.
It is science. It is science. So I had to bring education to the public that, I see so many tattoos, they have musical symbols, but
and they're all wrong.
They don't know. And people, they don't know what does that mean, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to bring that to, to a vast audience.
So in the science, how would you describe or quantify how African guitarists have modified how music is made in terms of how they play, how they put their notes together, the chord progressions, whether we choose to play in minors or majors. How would you talk about that?
Yes. So South Africa, it has a rich cultural diversity, and that cultural diversity, it influences the music, it influences the people, how they express themselves. There's no way you go to KwaZulu-Natal and you can't find someone playing Maskanda guitar. And each and every style, it has its own articulation, its own feeling, how they express themselves. Like Chitsonga, Dr. Thomas Chauke, how he plays the guitar, It's not the same how Max Mangwani plays the guitar. It's not the same how Puzi Shugela or Puzi Kemisi plays the guitar. So each and every style, it has that kind of a diversity than just being a progression. A progression, progression to the listeners. I mean that the movement of the music, in a song, yes.
Oh no, power people will surprise you. Power people will phone here and they'll talk about progressions and
yes.
Speak freely. Power people are amazing.
Movement, in classic it's called the movement.
Yeah.
So each and every culture, it is how they express themselves through music, man. So I brought this thing so that tomorrow anything could happen. We have something that is documented.
Billy Monama, I'm just so happy for you. I think that this is such a proud moment, I think, for South African music generally. And that it isn't some, and no offense to anybody, but it isn't some Swede who's come with an interest for the African music. It's you.
Yeah.
It's you who are an African for Africa with an African guitar, passion.
Yes, and our stories, in addition with that, our stories, they've been told by foreigners, and that for me, if I was not conscientized and if I was not a patriotic, that is why I'm wearing this scarf today.
And every day that I see you.
If I wasn't patriotic, I wouldn't have done this, because every time I watch a movie, I watch a TV, I see the black stories being told. They're not being told by us.
Yeah.
That's
a problem.
Yeah. So for me, and I wanted us to continue with what the youth of the 1976 they've started. So what the youth of the 1976 they've started is not yet over. So now we as the youth, I call myself a youth. I will be a youth until forever.
Claim it.
So now we as the youth, we need to write the books so that when we challenge the curriculum, they ask us, where's the content? We have something to produce. So now if you go to
I just got goosebumps.
Yes, if you go to the Department of Education, you say we want to advance the education system. They ask you, where's the material? Where are you gonna say where's the material? So now if we as the youth, speaking on a youth month, that we advance ourselves with education, and then so that in the future we have something substantial in school to argue that we need it. So that is why this book, I had to do it.
Challenging the curriculum. That is what the youth of 1976 were doing.
Yes.
And the fact that we still have to write a whole dissertation about whichever American muso you choose, or even Bo Ludwig Beethoven, whoever, is a problem that still needs to be challenged within the curriculum.
And speaking about dissertations,
yes,
I'm bringing a new sound, a new story, a fresh story, into the education system. Because if you look at most of the dissertations, they have the same references. Because people, they don't write books, they write a thesis because they want to secure their bag by having masters and degrees and so forth. So many people, they ask me, Billy, so why don't you do your masters? I say, if I do my masters, then it will belong to the school. I wanted to publish a book that everyone will be able to access wherever you are, without being subjected to any institution,
Which is quite interesting. It's an interesting critique on the system itself, isn't it?
Yes.
But I want to go back. Then if we are decolonizing, right, breaking the knowledge free of the institution, I mean, you went and interacted with institutions. I mean, you are sitting here in a photograph with Ndate Joseph Makwela.
Yes.
You are photographed here with pianist, composer and arranger Ndate Themba Mkhize. You are in all of these photographs, speaking to the institutions themselves. How did you find their response was to you wanting to know from them the history and the facts?
Yes.
Were people open?
Yes. Oh, yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah. Wow, I don't know where to begin, right? It's a long story. I had people who were open. You know, they said, Billy, what do you want? And then I said, I want to know about Mpaqanga. That's when I went to meet Joseph Makwela, Copingville.
Yes.
Because he was the first electric bass player of Mahlatini and Mautela Queens. He's the one who brought Mpaqanga, you know, into life.
Whew.
And that man, he carried loads of stories, you know. If it wasn't of him, I was not going to write, Mpaqanga chapter in depth. And then Rob Ellingham, he was a archivist at Gallo. He introduced me to different musicians like Monama, who was a drummer for Mahona Zotle and Mautela Queens. And then I then met Gwen Ansel at the beginning. I remember I had like one page, a draft, you know, with the hand. I said to her, I want to write a book. Gwen's like, Billy, she laughed at me like, what is this? You want to write a book with this? So now I had academics who kind of grounded me and guided me through the process. And I had the scholars, like the Professor Copeland.
Yes.
And then I had people on the ground, you know, who told the black stories, you know, and like the Hostigs. I mean, every day I would hear a new story from Hostigs. And I had the privilege of working with Ndate Jonas Gwangwa.
Oh, wow.
And Ndate Jonas Gwangwa was asking me, do you know General Duze? And I was like, who's that? And then it was like, no, it's the guitar player who recorded with King Kong. I'm like, oh, wow. So when I check General Duze, then General Duze gives me that thing. Like, oh, he recorded with all the musicians who were the first group of African jazz musicians from the Dolira Tebe, Tandy Klassen, you know, and Abigail Kubega, you name it, Miriam Makeba. So that was the guitar player that I found from the street, the information.
Yeah. Not
Not in the school. In school, there's no such thing like... There's no information like that, you know. I have to say, because I was there before. I mean, in 1990, in 2006, when I was given an assignment to go and research about Maskanda guitar by my history teacher, I went to libraries. There was nothing.
Wow.
So that is why today I'm saying I'm going to give the libraries free books so that there's something.
In terms of books, modern times, and media, okay?
Yes.
Why publish like this as opposed to a film or a documentary or, you know, some sort of YouTube anthology? Why was it important to also, because I mean those things can come,
yes,
but why was it important also to publish like this?
Oh, yes. So now, before I published the book, I published tutorial videos. So I have tutorial videos that they demonstrate what is in the book. And then if you read the book, at the end of each and every chapter, there is SoundCloud link so that you can listen.
Yes.
You can listen to the guitar, what it's saying there, you know. And so in the next print that we're going to do, I'm going to put at the last page, we're going to put a scan thingy so that if you buy a book, then you're going to have an access to access the videos.
Oh,
the
cool,
tutorial.
like a QR code.
QR code.
That's it.
I forgot what it's called. Yeah, thank you. The QR code. So we're going to have a QR code that takes you straight to the you know, tutorial where you see everything that I'm talking about. Yeah,
because I'm building a bridge to technology and music, because
Yes.
where are we now? We're in the pianos,
Yes.
and pianos, and then I'm like, where is there even one piano playing in this? Okay, fine, maybe that's not the point. The point is technology is making our music now.
Yes.
What are your thoughts there?
I think, you know, without history, we would be kind of lost, because this book, the primary objective of this book is for everyone, the researchers, everyone who's interested, to have a point of reference. So now, when you're a grown man and you want to know where this thing has started, you have this thing as a reference.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to help the piano people, you know, because it's the current movement. But if the piano person, if the piano musicians, they're conscientized. They want to know about where does this thing comes from. Then this book will take them through the evolution.
I mean, there's a school of thought that you have to know the basics. You have to know the stuff notation. You have to know what's what in terms of what music is in order to break those concepts to make these remixed whatevers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can listen to hip hop and the Yanos. They are remixing, songs from the past. They're making them, fresh. They're bringing a new soundtrack into those classic songs. So, like you were saying that the technology is replacing us, but the guitar is not replaced. The guitar. I know so many guitarists who record amapiano. So many amapiano songs I listen to, there's a guitar.
So it's actually
guitar is not going anywhere.
It's
They can amakatar. Yes. Listen, the technology has replaced the drum, so the drum is no longer alive.
Yeah.
They replaced the keyboard.
Sure.
They can replace anything but not the guitar.
That's amazing. Why is that?
It's a distinctive instrument that identifies the music in South Africa.
Sure.
It's a distinctive instrument. And, people, they love guitar because guitar, it can be played in a different way. You can do everything on a guitar. You can play rock, you can play classic, you can play pakanga, you can play chitsonga, you can play maskando, you can do anything with guitar. Can you play maskando on the harp? So I'm just giving an example, or a triangle. You can't do that. So the guitar, that is why it is distinctive.
Are kids taking up musical instruments?
Yes,
the kids of nowish.
They don't like back in the day, because back in the day when we grew up, in the township, we will see musicians rehearsing and all that. Today, musicians are DJs. So the kids of today, they are inspired by DJing and hip hop music, because that is what is at their disposal.
Yeah. So I suppose that is just kind of moving along with the times.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, remember, if there wasn't of Louis Armstrong and Dinah Washington and Ella Fitzgerald, there wasn't going to be Miriam Makeba. Miriam Makeba also, he was influenced by American music.
Yeah.
So now, I don't like this thing when old people, they say that the youth of today, they don't know what they're doing. No, old people also, they were influenced by American music.
Gotcha.
So today, if the kid is, we must not be the police of choosing what young people they should make music from. As long as young people, they make music that is gonna speak about the social issues that black people they face, as long as the music has consciousness, for me, I say let the youth do what they want with the music.
Power to you. 5 decades of Ukuvamba, 1930s to 1980s, introduction to South African guitar styles by Billy Monama.
Is available at the stores.
This is what I want to ask you. Which stores? Name them one by one.
Exclusive Books and Loot. We are sold out at Take a Lot, but we are trying to get some stock in.
Fantastic.
But and you can contact my publisher for direct orders at www.realafricanpublishers.com.
This is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to see us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What a pleasure.
Thank you for being part of this journey.
What a pleasure. Billy Monama here in studio as we wrap up Power Weekend Breakfast.
You've been listening to a Power 98.7 podcast. For more podcasts, visit power987.co.za or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.